Welcome to Life in 5, pro-life news that matters. I'm Hayley. In the Northern Territory, voluntary assisted dying, VAD, is currently illegal. The Northern Territory, along with ACT, are currently drafting bills to have it become legal by mid-2026. Federal restrictions were lifted in 2022, allowing the Northern Territory to create its own laws. The proposed model says that it would limit eligibility to adults with a condition that is advanced, progressive, and expected to cause death within 12 months. Although the bill mentions safeguards, we know, and we have seen this all before, today's expectations become tomorrow's obligations. The same dynamic has already played out repeatedly in the fight about legalizing abortions. We were promised safe, legal, and rare, and instead we have today's abortions that are shouted, demanded, and even celebrated. We were promised abortion only in the most extreme emergency scenarios, but today it is considered routine healthcare. The same applies to euthanasia. Today this bill is being celebrated for its safeguards, but tomorrow they will become unbearable burdens that must be removed for the good of patients. Please make sure you let people know that this is a slippery slope and is no longer just a theoretical argument. It is the ground in which we are standing on. We cannot allow ourselves to be complacent yet again. We have had multiple news reports recently of a woman from Georgia who was arrested because she had an abortion. The claim was that her arrest was because of Georgia's restrictive abortion laws. The state of Georgia has some of the better abortion laws in the US right now. And the story, as reported, is just not true. The headlines from Reuters' article reads, "Georgia woman faces murder charge after taking an abortion pill." The article did mention that the baby was likely between 22 to 24 weeks at the time of the abortion. This is a 6-month-old baby and approximately 2/3 through a pregnancy. Baby Moore was born alive and lived for an hour outside of her mother's womb. The article neglected to mention that the reason for the mother's arrest was that she had also ingested illegal opioids into her body, leading to the baby's death, which she had premeditated. She is being investigated under Georgia's murder law, not the abortion law. In Georgia, the law states that the baby becomes a victim at the moment of birth. Alexia Moore, the mother of the child and the woman charged with the murder, acknowledged that she knew her baby was suffering and that she had wanted her baby girl to die. She admitted to having multiple abortions, saying she can't even remember how many abortion pills she had taken. Although this is terribly upsetting and disturbing, what also stands out is that we have media outlets that can't even report the story correctly in order to discredit and undermine those states that seek to put any limits on abortion. The abortion lobby demands abortion up to birth with 0 restrictions. Georgia is at least trying to push back against that agenda. The media is there to inform, educate, and empower, not to express its own opinions, and certainly not to selectively cover a story according to its own biases. At this stage, it is correct to say that media outlets do not seem to care about reporting accurately. And that is why the work of Life in 5 matters so much. If the media won't do its job, then we must find a way of doing it ourselves. Good news from Scotland. Members of Scotland's Parliament have rejected the proposal to be the first in the UK to legalise assisted dying. The proposal, tabled by Liberal Democrat Liam MacArthur, would have allowed terminally ill, mentally competent adults to seek medical help to end their lives. Following an emotionally charged final debate, the bill was defeated by 69 votes to 57. Opponents raised several concerns about the bill, particularly fears of people being coerced into an assisted death. Mr. MacArthur attempted to win over the members by limiting the eligibility to people with 6 months to live, even though he was against that very move. One member of Parliament tried to sway the vote by appealing to the emotion and describing her dad's beautiful assisted death years prior. Independent member of Scotland Parliament Jeremy Balfour, who was born with no left arm and a right arm that ends at his elbow, said disabled people are terrified of this bill. He warned that this bill is a Pandora's box and begged members to consider the consequences for the most vulnerable. A lady by the name of Pam Duncan, who uses a wheelchair, urged members to make it easier to live rather than to die. Again, this outcome highlights the concern that without sufficient access to palliative care and improvements in these services, the choice for assisted dying is truly not free. This rejection is a positive result for the pro-life movement, yet it doesn't solve the underlying issue. It should motivate us to share concerns about voluntary assisted dying and raise awareness that there is a strong push for a quicker death over better care. We must fight to protect the most vulnerable.